$175,000 worth of weed. A man's idea to install solar panels led to the discovery of $175,000 worth of pot. Digging around in his backyard, Mac Reed stumbled across an open vault hidden underneath a hot tub. Reed called in a technician to take a look, and it was then that he spied a bag stuffed inside. In the bag was the mother lode of weed. There were about 60 little bottles containing weed, and sealed bags with other kinds of drugs. Alligator. Hearing a strange sound emanating from her backyard on a hot May afternoon, Sharon Bendy took it upon herself to investigate. She was taken aback to see an 8-foot alligator swimming in the pool. She immediately called her husband, and he saw that the reptile had clawed a hole right through their patio screen. While the two watched, the alligator tried to lift itself out of the pool but failed, so he just continued to swim around. Finally an alligator trapper came and was able to remove the reptile. A Ferrari. In 1978, a car in good condition was discovered buried in a Los Angeles yard. This sparked a police investigation, where it was found that the car had been reported stolen in 1974. Ancient stone. An ancient stone that was recorded in legal papers dating back to 1170 was discovered by an amateur historian after he researched the history of his own home. Metal door to the past. The Zig family was faced with this decision, and they hesitated for 10 years before they decided to get the door open and have a peek at what was inside. When the door swung open, they found a metal bunker in the ground. A ladder was fastened to the side, and the family saw that the bunker was flooded with water. They had found a war shelter dating back to the Cold War. Mystery object. Digging for worms in their backyard led two Kitchener sisters to something mysterious. They dug up what appeared to be a shiny rock. The object almost glowed in a blue color, and was as big as the sisters' heads. At first they thought that the object was part of a meteorite that fell in the region the month before. However, Earth Sciences professor Phil McCausland disagreed, saying that the visible layer of the object should have been much darker if it really was part of a meteorite. He also stated that most meteorite remains are found on top of the ground or just inside it, never deep in the soil. Human remains. The residents of a brand new home in Yuba City, California got a little spooked when their family dog scratched a pot out of the ground that contained human remains. Police and anthropologists descended upon the house to investigate the find, and decided that the discovery may be the remains of a religious ritual. After a routine search of the property, other artifacts such as doll fragments and unexplained objects were also discovered that tie in with the remains. The owner of the dog, Nathaniel Oberman, told police that he wasn't too concerned when his dog dug up what looked like the head of a porcelain doll, but got freaked out when he saw the pot with a skull in it. Oberman also confirmed that machetes and coins were found. It remains a mystery as to whose remains they were and who buried them. Woolly mammoth bones. John from Iowa and his two boys were picking blackberries in the thickly wooded area on their property in 2010 when one of the boys thought he spotted a ball in the distance. Upon getting closer to the object, John saw that it was no ball, but was in fact a bone sticking out of the ground. He started digging and eventually produced a 4-foot femur. He took the bone to the University of Iowa, where it was identified as belonging to a woolly mammoth that lived during the Ice Age. Fossil experts undertook 2 digs on John's property and discovered foot bones as well as rib bones. Even though it's not that unusual to find mammoth bones in Iowa, it's very unusual to find an entire skeleton. The head is still missing, and John is allowed to keep the bones until all of them are found. Mastodon bones. Renovations to a backyard pond in Hyde Park, New York turned into a full-scale excavation after the owner discovered a large bone at the bottom. Larry Lozier was dredging the pond so he could make it deeper when he came across the bone buried in mud. Thinking it might be a bone from a cow or horse, he loaded it onto his truck and drove around with it for a few days. He even took it to a barbecue and his friends took a look at it. No one believed it could be from a mastodon until Lozier called Dr. Christopher R. Lindner, who took a drive to his Hyde Park home to take a look. Coal was found. Lozier is now the proud owner of up to 90 mastodon bones. As soon as all the bones are found, they're likely to become a major exhibit in a newly planned museum. It's thought that the 9-foot-tall mastodon died in the pond 12,000 years ago after getting stuck in the mud. Aboriginal skeleton. It's not every day that the discovery of an 400-year-old skeleton costs a family $5,000. Ken Sorg discovered bones in the yard while trying to create holes deep enough for fence posts. Thinking the bones belonged to an animal, Ken quickly forgot about them. When his wife Nicole pressed the issue, they kept digging and eventually unearthed the skeleton of an Aboriginal woman. Forensic anthropologist Michael Spencer investigated the site and found that the woman was in her mid-20s when she died sometime during the 1600s.